All right, everyone, it's time to talk about episode 29 of Kamen Rider Gavv. I was curious after the end of the last arc, like how we're gonna pick up this new arc. Uh, I assumed just from previous that we're gonna kind of get like a tonal shift, not a reset and everything, but like I was like, all right, it's been kind of serious for a bit. Maybe we'll get some nice lore, character stuff, some humor, and that seems to be the case. It's been a month. They did a month, like 1 month later, and we got a little recap, and the crew's just been fighting Granoots and helping Sachiko with the business, and I was like, all right, that's so we're getting a little time jump. That's good. Um, I don't mind time jumps honestly. That's it happens in shows, and I'm okay with that. It's better than us getting like a mini filler arc. I'd rather have a 2 to 3 minute montage. And we, even with the narration, of everything they've been doing, little, and then they're like, oh, but little do we know, Stomach Inc.'s been doing some stuff. And uh, they're, Nell, Glota, Lango, and stuff, they're still discussing, the product line. Glota's bringing up, hey, the luxury items. And Lango's like, well, and he's like, no, but what's going on with this red Gabu and stuff? Like Shoma's crew, and he's talking about how he's been, basically has a ton of ideas, but he's been working on the other stuff. Um, the one thing I was curious about, and the the whole Jeep disappearing for a while. Like we saw the Jeep crash out, staying in like a store, like a abandoned warehouse type place, and I was curious. I was like, all right, are we gonna get the full like Jeep just losing it? And instead, we get some flashes of Jeep just not an alleyway with the broken. I forgot what those things are called. Like I call it the human gimmick. Their little human gimmick for Jita, and you know it was one of those things where I was like, all right, it's still broken, obviously. And then he's confronted by another Granite, and we find out this is now going to be, well, is his the wife. I forgot the name. It begins, I think it's Lizelle, and she ends up being the daughter of the Granite president. I guess I don't know how their structure works. I don't know if there's just someone who's the president who runs all of it, or if there's like little pocket cities, like mayor style stuff. But he's the president. And when Jeep was confronting the Stomach family, I thought it was really intriguing that Jeep not only wants, obviously revenge on Shoma at some point, but now is like going against the family because they did the flashbacks of how, well, Sheeta and Jeep have to be married off to, some powerful families and this and that. And let's face it, Jeep did that. President's daughter, okay? Like, that's smart. And gave away all their secrets of the human world, the dark confections, because the president shows up and he's even talking about, he's like, so, I don't hear about this other world. He's like, you got a monopoly on interdimensional travel, and I'm also want to know more about these treats you're making. And I'm like, so we knew the dark confections were kind of like, let's just call a spade a spade. They're like drugs there for the Granoots. And we knew that they were kind of keeping a little low profile, but now we have the president who knows about it. And also this whole interdimensional travel. I thought it was funny that Lizelle already went to the human world, like, and I guess it was Nell that created the gimmick for her. And I forgot the president's name. I'm gonna call him the president, okay? It was kind of just like, you went there? Oh God. She's like, I want a villa there. And you can kind of see this dynamic now. And I hope there's more between the president and Lango, because he was like, I assure you could, set up a villa that's to her liking in the human world. And Lango was like, of course, sir. Blah, blah. And I'm like, we're seeing Lango not be the top guy right now. And I hope that's explored more. But then again, if it's not, I'm not gonna lose. I'm not gonna lose sleep. I'm not gonna lose, anything over it if it's not a thing that happens. But this episode, it was basically just catching up and then, pushing what I, thought about. I was like, okay, we're gonna get the Stomach family back into play. This is good, and I like that it's not just gonna be the stereotypical. Okay, Stomach Inc. Granoots get more pressed humans. It's like, no, now we have the Stomach family, dealing with Jiip, who's plotting revenge on them, dealing now with the president, a government official, basically, of their area, of their land, of their world. And now, he even said one line where he was talking about, oh, don't you think this should be shared with everybody? Like the interdimensional travel. So now it's like, what seeds are they planting with this? Because this was definitely like a lot of jumping off points for plots. So we're gonna have the whole, like I said, the whole G married to the president's daughter thing. Stomach Inc. now having to not only deal with the president, but also the fact that their production is they're going through their reserves. Their production is slowing down because of Shoma and his crew. So now I want to know what other ideas Nelv has that he's going to be working on, because he said he has tons of ideas, and also the fact that he even said he was going to continue Shuga's work. And they really sidebar, they took Shuga out of the OP, so it's sad. I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. Then another seed, another plot, like subplot point that was planted was Shoma and Hanto were having coffee. Shoma developed 2 more choco frap custom like go chizos. So it makes me believe they are one use only. Because he gave Hanto 2 more, but then Hanto asked Shoma like, "Hey, what's your mom's name?" Because she was human, and he's like, she might have some family. I can look into it, and Shoma gives Hanto his mom's name, and he even says, hey, he's like, I'm kind of scared to find out. So we have another plot point now with Shoma's mom's human family possibly coming into the show and coming into play as a part of the story. No one else really has any other story news stuff, like Raga becoming more like assimilated to the human world. He moved into Shuga's old like lab, and I was just like, well, I mean, it's better than the warehouse place he was staying before. I just think that's intriguing of a choice. Isn't there still one more clone left? Because when Shoma was kidnapped, right after Hanto had, discovered everything, there was 2 clones there and Shuga. And then when Kamen Rider Bake debuted, only one of the clones was with him. And, when he fought, the clone didn't get destroyed. So I'm like, and then when Ram was there destroying the tank with all the clones, he destroyed 1 clone. But I'm like, wasn't there one more clone somewhere? Isn't there like one more clone just floating around? I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. But I feel like there is 1 clone just like chilling somewhere, eating like freaking pizza, and pushing old ladies. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I feel like there is. So it's intriguing that he moved in there. The humor moment, the fun, lighthearted. Like I said, we're gonna get that tone change at first. Sachika's company was hired in to help out with a basketball game, so Shoma and Rakia and her played basketball. I think it was intriguing at first that they were like, just playing normal. Then their Granute strength and speed abilities started being used. Shoma hitting those full court and half court 3-pointers. Rakia hitting, front flip slam dunks. And then you have Sachika, she gets passed to her and she gets scared every time she gets the ball or she drops the ball. I thought that was fun, but obviously this led to our Granute. And not even the Granute of the week, because this is a 2-part episode, because it ended on the cliffhanger, which I believe is a monkey. But there's a guy just, creepily watching in the stands. He stands out. I'm just saying. Like, anyone could have looked over them and been like, sir. And it would make sense doing sports because, you win and you're happy because that's what led to happening. The other 2 teammates went missing and, they go back to the basketball thing. And, it's kind of, I find it funny how the reveal for the Granite happened, because Rakia bumps into the dude and he just points right in his face and starts kind of being like, oh no, like, and I was like, you gave yourself away. And he even caught himself like, oh. So led to that fight. I was curious, because even rewinding, when they did the 1-month montage, like all the stuff you saw Hanto just using regular Balin, the Choco form, and Shoma using just regular popping gummy. And obviously, Ram only has still the jelly and the pudding, so he doesn't have a third form or another form. So I thought it was intriguing that they were at least from Hanto and Shoma's standpoint, they were just using base forms for their montages and that. And then even in this fight, Shoma's just using popping gummy because you figure he has all these other forms, and also the fact that during the montage, I forgot to say, they did kind of say, his issues were resolved. Most of the montage in the beginning was just him just eating different food, and then he ate popcorn, and he got the pop burned Gochizo. So I was finally like, oh, cool, Gochizo that got released from a toy standpoint a while ago, and I'm like, I wonder if we're getting a new form. And during the fight, he does use it, and basically a whole bunch of popcorn just flies out of the the belt and attaches to the tree and this and that. It turns out they're just like almost like little firecracker landmines, which I thought was entertaining. There wasn't really too much for the fighting. Some cool moments with like Rom cutting down a tree to get to the granite and this and that. But the main thing of all that was basically at the end, Lizelle shows up and she's like, "That looks like fun. Can I join in?" Like, and that's where we get our cliffhanger. And so I was like, all right, so we're maybe we're back to like the whole. Well, we're not back. We've been doing this a lot in the show, 29 episodes in, where it's like a lot of cliffhanger, like episode ending 2-part style, like mini, like I don't want to say arcs, but like for a while there, the Grand Newts, it would be like 2 episodes, and I'm okay with that, especially right now. I think 29 episodes in, it's good. This is a good pace to kind of have it at the middle, build up everything. Um, I don't think a lot of stuff's been rushed at all in the show, so I kind of like that. I'm curious to see now, with especially from a Hanto standpoint, choosing between using his new belt or the Valen Buster, like to Henshin, like that pick between them, because now he has two frap things, and it's like he still has to rely on Shoma to give him Go Chizos. And because Dente can make a belt, we don't know if he can make gimmicks yet or what he's really done in the last month, other than to thank him for making the belt. Hanto brought him cookies, and he also thanked Rocky and gave him some rocks, which he ate, and Hanto was shocked about that. I feel like those are details he should have been informed of. um, but yeah, it's a good arc, to like a good start to the arc. I think just having a chill episode. We had a lot of story narrative stuff happening, and I feel like it's going to be that for a couple episodes while we kind of set the tone and the pace for how this arc's going to work, how long it's going to be. I don't look at leaks or scans, so I don't know if there's any new forms coming up. I don't know if there, except for that one poster that was going around, it was kind of hard to avoid. So I don't know really what else is going to go on. I'm hoping some of the stuff isn't thrown to the waste. Like, I really want to know what Shugo is really trying to do with that ultimate life form, like that letter K baby thing. Like, I'm hoping, but like, if it doesn't show up right now, I'm okay with that. I just hope I'm sure it's gonna pop up. Like, without Shuga, I was like, I think we're gonna focus on Nelv a lot with what he's doing, and then also now that Jiip has the human gimmick fixed because Lizelle fixed it for him, I'm curious if we're gonna get Shita back somehow. Like, even if it's like a faux type thing, like vegan, another Grand who just uses it, or maybe even Jeeb tries to use it, which would be really weird, which could lead into a whole psychosis break, like duality of personalities, like split thing going on. I'm curious where that's gonna go. But yeah, not a bad episode, really good. I'm curious, like I kind of like the tone and the pacing change after everything we just went through with this last arc. So I'm curious to see where it's gonna go. I'm curious what you guys think. You guys have been commenting a lot on that, the reviews and stuff like that, and I appreciate everyone's theories and how you guys have been feeling about this stuff. So please let me know in the comments below what you thought of this episode. What do you think is going to happen in this new arc starting? And don't forget the subscribe button. I thank you guys for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next one.